19 to me looks like a 1959 Heinkel cabine. Now, I probably said that wrong. That's what I thought. Small person on board. There looks like a lot of small people in there. You need a lot of small people to get in there. 661. That's a 1935 Austin 7. You're not tick-tocking in there, are you? She is as well. She'll be doing a dance soon. 715 is a 1966 Morris Minor. 618, right, and this is Brunye, and you got George there, John there. This is the 6-inch Burrell. Seen this round many times. You get some speed on that as well, didn't you? I've seen you joyriding around site. Much. Now, the first engine coming in this afternoon, ladies and gents, is a 1912 Fowler Road Roller, and believe it or not, that engine holds a lot of memories for myself, because we used to have a little event that Dorothy Robinson used to do at Market Raising Racecourse, and my dad, Tiny, was doing the commentary there, and I actually crewed with Paul and Glyn for the weekend, and this roller, Bellingham, was the first engine I ever properly drove, because normally on an engine you have a driver and you have a steerer. Not always, thank you, but Bellingham was the first engine I actually drove, and it was great, because as we went around the arena, Glyn was steering and I was driving, and my dad went didn't know what to say, which for Tiny was great. It's number 51. I'll say it's a 1912 Fowler called Bellingham, an N-class roller believed to be the only surviving example. Although most of its type were exported, there might be the possibility of one surviving somewhere. There is one, is there? He's got a picture. Nick's got a picture. But it was supplied to Durham County Council, where it was suitable for the hilly terrain, and it worked there for many years. Afterwards moved to Hexham, where it worked until 1964. It was bought by the McDonald family in 1997. Like I say, don't worry about the PA, it's not my PA. Number 14 behind it is the 1927 Burrell Showman's tractor, named Nell Gwen. One of the last Burrell engines to be built, and didn't actually find a customer until 1929. It was sold in roller form and has worked the whole of its life in that form in East Anglia during the restoration overhaul. It was found that the steering headstock was too badly damaged to be repaired, and since the parts were available to convert it to a tractor, this was done. The conversion was carried further by the addition of the Showman's fittings as it appears in its current condition. Both the roller and the Showman's are owned by our chairman, Glenn McDonald. How are you guys? Jolly good. Number 42 is a 1906 Alchin called Lady Anne, and it was brought back from Australia in extreme derelict condition and restored by the present owner to the restored condition, owned by Mark Ellis of Dalton. Number 59, it's a Roby roller. And you don't see many of these. It's a 1924 Roby, which was supplied new to Flint County Council in 1961. It was sold to R.C. Hayne and then to D.W. Davis in 1963. And in 1996 it was sold to John Dayish of Gisland, who sold it to the present owner, Philip Moody, in November 2001. And as you can see, it's not got wheels on the back, sorry. It's a tandem road roller. So it has a roller at the front and a roller at the back. As you might have guessed, a road roller, they were used for laying new roads. Number 41, it's a 1907 Alchin called I'll Live, and it was brought back from Australia in an extreme derelict condition, restored to its present condition. Mark Ellis, which I just said. Getting ahead of myself. Next is Ambition. We've got our very own Andy Coulthard on there. How are you? Great little Wallace advance roll there. Number 37. It's the 1936 Marshall, Just Sam, which was sold to Riga in Russia and repatriated in the 1990s, which sold in 2017 by Bill Greengrass of Wakefield. Slightly different to some of the arrangements we have. Toby, 1 of 8, delivered to W.W. Butterfrome of Highbridge. It worked in West County until sold in 1966. It was bought by the present owner in 1990. Just completed a lengthy refit. Last night I was in the beer tent making all the noise. Number 4 is the 1909 Fowler Showman's Road Locomotive Dreadnought, owned by Peter Turner. It was exhibited new at the Smithfield Show in 1909. The T. Butcher Taunton converted to a Showman's by Fowler's in 1911. Travelled most of its working life to W. Coles and then to G Scarrett and stood idle between 1942 and 1953. Is the 1899 Fowler, who is new to JP Downing of Devon, and then to J Dennis, J Hamley and Sons, G Hawkins, and all of its working life was spent in Cornwall. It then went to N Green, who restored it in 1960 with J Jones. It was purchased in 1983 by Peter and R Green, and it's been owned for them for the past 40 years. How are you doing, guys? All right? I'm not going to say anything about female drivers. No, I wouldn't. Don't worry about the fence, it's not mine. (1918) Garrett, Showman's tractor there. New to Ministry of Munitions as a tractor, but supplied too late to see any action. It's converted to a full Showman spec in 1921 for Fred Harris, worked for the Harris fairs until 1954. Purchased by the Swan family from them in 2021. I think I got it wrong, because I spent 2020 and 2021 singing. Just from this parade, I should have been out buying a traction engine. There's been a lot of people buying traction engines during the pandemic, it would seem. 32 is a 1908 Brown and May, one of two surviving Brown and May tractors. The other one's in New Zealand, converted into a steamroller in the 1920s and worked until 1959. And that one's owned by Alan Ringel. Number 3. As you notice, this one looks slightly different to a lot of the other Showmans, because it's a 1912 Brown and May Showman's road locomotive. It was new to J. Cook of Warrington to travel with a set of gallopers, and it was bought by the present owners in 1936. Used for a further 10 years for threshing, this engine is very rare and is the only known example to exist. This is part of the J. Rundle and Sons collection. Ah, new? I think so. Everyone likes it. That'll do. I second that. Number 4 is number 19 in your programme, and it was built in 1919 as well. This is the third of our ploughing engines on show this weekend. It was called Success, originally purchased by the Ministry of Agriculture and then sold to Wardendale. Last in steam approximately 1994, but recently purchased from the late Bobdale and taken to Haxey, North Links. It was completely restored by H. Smith and Sons of Lincolnshire between 1970 and 1973. They were thought beyond restoration. And that's based in Doncaster. And again, you know, a lot of these Fowlers you see in the black, but this one is not in black, it's in maroon, as are all the drivers and apprentices on board in the maroon. Number 7, it's the 1924 Fowler Showman's tractor, new to mechanical tar spraying and grouting company Reading as a steamroller, and worked until the early 1960s. It was converted to a tractor by Reg Wells of Lincoln in 1986. It's called Deceiver and is now owned by Rob Tyler. I can see a ladder coming in. I don't know what type of ladder it is. $10.26. That's the 1920 Leyland fire engine, owned by M. Elmridge of Grantham. $10.27. The 1934 Leyland fire engine. $10.25. The 1956 Dennis fire engine, all owned by M. Eldridge of Grantham. $10.32. 1956 Dennis fire engine, owned by D. Rose of Harby. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. You see, you got the Cheshire fire